Thank you for holding today's hearing to discuss the threat of cyber attack at ports and what the U.S. Coast Guard and the Department of Homeland Security are doing with private and public partners to protect maritime critical infrastructure against such attacks. And I thank all our witnesses for being here with us today. Since the Coast Guard is responsible for the security of our nation's ports, entities both in the private sector and in local and state government rely on the service's leadership when doing their part to mitigate risks at our ports. As ranking member of the subcommittee and as a member representing a district along the Gulf of Mexico, I have an interest in port security issues and recognize the unique challenges each port faces. Texas District 34 includes 4 maritime ports: the Port of Brownsville, Port of Harlingen, Port Isabel, and Port Mansfield, and is adjacent to the Port of Corpus Christi, which is represented by Congressman Farenthold. Each of these ports has its own set of characteristics, managing various volumes and types of cargo and other commercial traffic. One of the differences is, for example, the Port of Brownsville, the Port of Harlingen are about 17 miles inland, whereas the Port of Corpus Christi is right adjacent to a city of 300,000 people. And I've met with the Chief of Police at the Port of Corpus Christi, and I know he has some concerns about some of the vulnerabilities there, and I look forward to hearing about that. As with other ports, facilitating the flow of commerce must be judiciously balanced with measures required to keep our ports secure. As in my district, many of our nation's ports are closely linked to other vital transportation networks and critical infrastructure, which often lead to major metropolitan areas. Traditionally, our focus has been on the physical security of these ports. Today, we will discuss an important element that is growing and rapidly evolving: the use of technology at ports and the security risks posed by our increased reliance on these automated and networked systems. There is no question that technology can enhance the operations and security of seaports, which in turn helps boost economies through the import and export of goods. This technology also adds an additional level of risk that we must better understand and mitigate. Though this subcommittee does not typically discuss cybersecurity, it is important that we understand the federal government's role in this important port security issue. Last June, the Government Accountability Office issued a report on cybersecurity at ports. Its findings highlighted several actions the Coast Guard and DHS as a whole should take in order to better prepare for and ideally prevent cyber attacks on systems used at seaports. In June, the Coast Guard published their cyber strategy, which discussed the need to include cybersecurity as an element of security regimes for maritime critical infrastructure. Today, I hope to better understand how the GAO's findings influenced Coast Guard cyber strategy and how it will help inform implementation of the strategy. I would like to learn more about how the Coast Guard is developing guidance and standards that will address safety and security concerns while being sufficiently flexible for ports around the country. There are no one-size-fits-all solutions. What works in Long Beach may well not work best for Brownsville, for example. I also hope to hear directly from our port witnesses today about how ports of different types and sizes are addressing cybersecurity and what more the Coast Guard, DHS, and Congress can do to support your efforts. I am hopeful that today's hearing will broaden this subcommittee's understanding of the emerging risks related to technology at our ports. With that, Madam Chairman, I yield back the balance of my time.